Hi, jewells68 here for Talk to Me Tuesday on Tuesday, August 9th. Here it is, it's done. It's all done. I can't be in front of it because I have no tripod. And I'm wearing flip-flops, so I'm dodging ants as we speak. I'm in my front yard. This is hanging from my carport. There's my car right there. And we're going to do a quick tour of the quilt. So castle, I decided to do like I'd seen some other folks do, try to do them kind of like bricks. So we'll just go along the top. The sky I did in what Crystal describes as a loopy meander, to which I added occasional 5-pointed stars, the kind that you draw, you know, you just do real quick with a pen. Hopefully I'm getting this. We'll go down to the top row. We've got, where am I? There we go. So we've got Harry's glasses, and I have to say I was terrified because the glasses, some of the fabric there, some of the stitching was coming out, I noticed when I was quilting up in that area. So when it got to actually getting the black out, where'd it go? Getting the black thread out and quilting the glasses frames, I quilted the crap out of that fabric. It is so stiff, it's like it's a pair of glasses. So same thing with the white. They all kind of puffed up. For some reason I had a little too much fabric there. So again, I just quilted the crap out of it. There were a few places like that where there was some stitching coming out, and again, I found a couple of holes here and there that I think I might have gotten from jamming the quilt through the sewing machine. The original plan was to quilt it all in the gray background color thread, so I did start out doing that. I started on this row here, Monster Book of Monsters. And so I was kind of unhappy with how that was looking, so I did start changing color. So eventually I just went and would do each color, all of the things that I wanted to stitch that were in that color. I did them. But a lot of stuff I just did in the gray, and it worked out okay. I did use silver thread in the crystal ball. I don't know if you can see that, or whoops, where am I? There we go. So there's the sky. I guess I didn't point it up high enough to show you the castle roof, but my castle points don't match. The bricks are all different sizes. This is the first one I did, and then later I went back. I finished on this one. So yeah, I was much more relaxed by then, as you can tell. The crinkling is awesome from doing the bricks. It really made it crinkle. I was a little concerned about how that batting, the Hobbs fusible batting, was going to work. I was a little concerned about whether it was really gonna, it just felt so flat. But you know what, I think it's gonna work out perfect for considering where she's going to school is close to the hottest part of the state. It's even more desert than here. It's not as high an elevation as here, so it doesn't get as cool at night. So, and the dorms are air conditioned, unlike the ones I had in college. So, same thing, I also quilted quite a bit on the snitch. This is actually one of the first blocks I did. I'm really happy with how the pages turned out. If I had it to do over again, I would just not even worry about trying to find fabric that looks like pages with lines, and I would just do it with the stitches. Another one I quilted the crap out of is the time turner. I just added a little bit of stitching to this guy here. So here's these. I did silver thread there. I originally did gray thread for Hedwig, and then I went back over the white parts with white, and then I did, when I had the yellow in, I did the yellow eyes. I was a little worried about the eyes and beak, but they came out fine in the wash. The wand, Monster Book of Monsters, I was a little worried because I didn't stitch his tongue and teeth, but I did enough stitching around all the rest of it that it turned out fine. Love my butterbeer. I have to say, I've got a newfound confidence in my ability to free motion quilt after this thing. It really sucked in the beginning, I have to say. I used 7 superior titanium coated top stitching needles on this quilt. I broke 6 needles on this quilt, and the first 4 that I broke were about before I got halfway through the quilt. So these turned out really well. I was a little worried about these, so I went back in with the silver thread again here on the inside of the crest and stitched that. And I stitched the H with some yellow variegated and orange thread. That was the closest thing I had to gold. Some of these really small stipples, I guess they call them micro stipples. Oh man, I really love how crinkly they make the quilt. You know, I was a little worried. The Hobbs fusible batting is a very, very low loft, so I was a little concerned about that. It's only 80% cotton, so it doesn't shrink up quite as much. And the other part of it is, it says you shouldn't spread your quilting more than 4 inches apart. So I went ahead and just quilted the crap out of this quilt. The only thing that has wider spaces is some of the books, but I only did that on the really narrow ones. If they were fairly wide books, I made sure to put at least a little bit of quilting in them. So considering this is my first like big free motion quilting project, I'm actually kind of proud of myself. I think I did pretty good. And Bertie Bott's, I love how that block turned out. Because that square is like 2.5 inches, I went ahead and quilted around like 3 jelly beans right in the middle. And I'll show you that on the back in just a second. I love the back of this quilt almost as much as I love the front. Like seriously. You can't really see it, but I used purple. I should have used something other than purple thread, like maybe the gold metallic or silver thread. I embroidered a big CF in the middle of the purple part of the chocolate frog box, and you can't even see it, except on the back. So, there's that. In many cases on the books, I just followed the shape of whatever the design was on the fabric to quilt that book. Like this one, I just followed that little white design there that frames everything. So on the back it looks really cool. So there's the whole front. We'll go back up here like this. There's the whole front. Now we'll go to the back. You guys can see my car, my lovely little crappy Chevy. Here's the back. It's not quite as easy to see. I'm blinded by the sun here, so it's hard for me to see anything at all. That's the segment of castle fabric I had to use to finish piecing the back. Here's my label. Right here. I used one of the covers of one of the alternate patterns for Hedwig with Errol and just did this in Photoshop. I imported it into Photoshop and then added the titles and all the typing, saved it as a high-res JPEG, and then printed it on Printed Treasures fabric. So now we're going to go along the bottom, and you can see where I outlined the it's kind of hard to see the black stitching on the blue on the cauldron, but all the gray stitching pops out really nicely. And now you can see the chocolate frog, my CF that I did. You can't really see it. Should have used a different color, but oh well. I love how Bertie Bott's looks on the back. Look at the jelly beans right in the middle. The bricks look nice. Here's the open book. And I quilted it so it looked like things were flying out of the open book. I just thought that was kind of fun. I had a lot of fun quilting this. The more I did, the more relaxed I got, and the more relaxed I got, the more fun I had, and the more fun I had, the more relaxed I got with my stitching. So, I love, love, love how Crookshanks looks on the back too. The little stitches. He's almost invisible. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to show you. So I've got mixed feelings about the Invisible Book of Invisibility, which I'll show you in just a second, but at the time I couldn't find any flat, matte, glow-in-the-dark paint for fabric. And Here's the back of the feather in the bottle. I really enjoyed that. And Butterbeer. Monster Book of Monsters. Looks pretty crazy on the back. The wand. Hedwig. Second to top shelf. There's the frame. There's the time turner. There's the snitch. The glasses, you can see. Let me see if I can get close to the glasses. Can you see all that black stitching? I went nuts with the black thread. I just stitched the crap out of those glasses. That fabric isn't going anywhere. And then you can really see, here's the crystal ball. This is the only tension problem I had the entire quilt on that Kenmore. And it wasn't the Kenmore's fault, it was the bobbin was not where it was supposed to be. So, and I was going to be damned if I was going to pull it out and start over, because it was the last block that I quilted. The back of the castle, and I really love how the loopy meanders and the stars came out. Hopefully you can see that, because I can't see what you're saying. And then we'll go back in front. So the Invisible Book of Invisibility is right next to Crookshanks right here. And you'll see that after washing and drying that fabric paint, I used the dimensional fabric paint that's glow in the dark because it was all I could find. It looks like it's going to peel off the next time it's washed. So if that does indeed come out, I'll just go back over it with, of course, after I finished this quilt, I found the flat paint I was looking for fabric. Tulip had it. But when I Googled it at the time, like I was going to order it if they didn't have it in the store, I couldn't find it anywhere. Anyway, that's it. That's it. It's done. Yeah. It's done. So, look forward to watching your videos, and I'll see you next week. Bye!